What if I told you that we could beat Rory McIlroy in a golfing competition and get a Guinness World Record while doing it?
Let's hear it.
If you had 30 seconds to sink as many putts as you can blindfolded, how many do you think you could sink?
How far away am I from the hole?
Let's call it 10 feet.
Okay, I think I can make 10.
Okay. So if we can get to 13, since the record is 12, we will have beaten Rory McIlroy's record from the Guinness Book of World Records for the most putts blindfolded made in 30 seconds. I think it's doable. I put this very much in the category of we could be a record holder.
I think both of us could do that.
All right, let's go do it.
A local municipal golf course says it's been overrun by what some are calling, quote, hack golfers.
Has the game grown too much? Do we need more scratch golfers?
I'm telling you, hacks slow the game down. You can't grow golf if people are chunking it into the weeds all day.
Scratch player?
Hey everybody, it's Dez and welcome back to Hack and Scratch Podcast, episode number 4. Casey, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. We are officially in the West Coast swing of the PGA Tour. We have some great tournaments coming up and we've had some great tournaments already. So it's a good week. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good too. I'm glad to hear it. I know you were a little down this week, maybe. You got your first bit of internet hate based on a take you had from last week's pod. Thank you for the take because it shared our channel to quite a few people. I think it had over like 1,000 shares or something crazy like that. But yeah, how's that feel to be on the opposite side of an opinion in golf?
It was a new experience for sure, but I get it. A lot of people made some good points, but you know what? I'm going to stick by my guns and still be okay with my decisions.
You know what? I felt pretty good about it. As you were going through it, I was like, you know what? This makes a lot of sense. I too desperately would love to play Augusta. So, well, great. I'm glad you're doing well. It's all for the love of the game. So speaking the game and for the love of the game, we have a very well-respected, what I would say, well-respected player who did something quite special this week. He definitely was looked at as kind of the hero's runner-up last year when he came in second to Rory McIlroy for the Masters. It's great to see him start this season off so hot. Wins in historic fashion. What did you think of the performance?
Yeah, I mean, Justin Rose just is somebody that I'm never surprised is winning a golf tournament. You know, he is just kind of always there, whether it's in the top 10 or if he's taken home the trophy. So I'm not surprised at all. I've been to this tournament a few times and it's really fun to watch, to see the guys grind it out on the first 2 days on the North and the South course. And he just went low early. And that kind of set him up for just a maintenance weekend where he just had to keep doing a little bit better than the rest of the field. And he pulled it off.
You know I'm a betting guy, and when I saw his lead after 36 holes, I thought to myself, you know what? If anyone's going to go wire to wire, which is tough in these days in these conditions, if anyone could go wire to wire that just mentally sound, I feel like it would be Rose. So I threw a live bet, which I don't normally do, on Rose to win, and man, I just sat back, didn't have to sweat it out at all. It was basically won the night before the final round, and yeah, it was a good call. He demolished the field.
Yeah, and for him to win by such a large margin of victory, one at Torrey Pines, where it's scoreable, you know, like you can really shoot low scores, but nobody was able to really challenge that, was pretty impressive. And again, like you said, at 45 years old, like he's still wiping the floor with these guys. So super impressive.
Yeah, I so confidently believe this is not going to be his only win of 2026. I would bet on it in a big way. And, you know, staring at the barrel of Augusta down in the next month or so, you know, he's got a great shot at it. I think, you know, come April, he is going to be primed to go back and maybe try to up his finishing position by one this year. Yeah, I remember when he lost that playoff to Sergio back in the day. I think it was like 2016, 27, I think it's 2017. And I felt for him a lot because it was kind of a similar situation to last year. People were very happy that Sergio won. And I always kind of hoped he'd get back there. And then the heartbreak of last year. So I'm really pulling for him this year. I think stars are kind of aligning for him.
I totally agree. And I'm hoping for the same thing. I mean, for somebody to have such a decorated career, this is going to be somebody that it will be in the record books for the PGA Tour, just for how long he's been around, his wins, his personality on and off the course. Like, he's just an incredible dude. So yeah, I think it'll be a great season for Justin Rose. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. Another person trying to have a good season and needs a good season is one of our Netflix friends, Joel Damon.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see him kind of in the hunt. And I know after everything we just said, there wasn't really anybody that could challenge him too much this weekend, Justin Rose, that is. But Joel Damon played great. And he kind of did fall apart at the end there. I think he was only one of a few players to shoot over par on Sunday, which was kind of tough to see. But it got him into some other events and, got him some points to stay in the hunt with the rest of the tour. So hopefully he continues this streak and can play his way into a few more tournaments, because everybody loves Joel Damon. We want to see him win golf tournaments and we want to see him play.
For sure. For sure. It's funny. I saw, obviously, we have the coming up this week. He's going to be playing. I think he gets a sponsorship exemption into it. He had a very viral as it can be moment. And it wasn't for hitting a hole in one, which normally people get at the Waste Management, but taking his shirt off on the 16th green and chugging a beer, that was pretty elite back in the day. And I saw that on his sponsor exemption request online that he had wrote, "Hey, I promised to not take my shirt off unless they ask for it."
That's fair. And I think people will be asking for it.
Yes, for sure. Well, it's great. Talking about other great golfers that did well this week and just getting out there was an accomplishment, I think, for this one. It is Brooks Koepka. Obviously, all eyes were on him. This is his first return to the PGA after joining LIV. Definitely fielded a lot more questions for a person who probably wasn't going to go out and win this tournament this week, but had a nice pre-tournament interview. And, to me, it was just it came off really wholesome, which is a different side that you haven't really seen from Brooks in a while.
Yeah, totally agree. I was kind of surprised by his whole press conference. I think from the beginning, you could kind of tell he's really happy to be there and seems very grateful of the situation that he's in. And, it just wasn't kind of the assassin Brooks Koepka that we kind of associate him with. So yeah, it was cool to see kind of the human side of him being like, I love this game. I want to come and play and compete. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Multiple major winner coming back to the PGA Tour from LIV. That's huge. It's huge for the PGA Tour, and it's a blow to LIV.
Absolutely. Huge win for PGA. And honestly, he played quite well. He didn't putt worth anything, and he admitted to on the post tournament interview. But if he did even putt to a 0, I think he would have been probably top 20. His ball striking was phenomenal. He'll get there, I'm sure. He doesn't like the grass at Torrey as much as he said. So, we'll see how his season progresses. Definitely, he's just happy to be there, happy to be back with everyone and competing, I think, on this kind of stage. And no better stage to compete on than the Waste Management this week, which is definitely one of his favorite tournaments. He loves the stadium atmosphere. So excited to see what he comes up with this week.
Yeah, same here. And I think Torrey Pines was a great start. If there's a place for you to kick off getting back on the PGA Tour, it's at Torrey Pines. Like you said, then going into something much bigger, much more lively, probably more like LIV, honestly, is the Waste Management. So it's going to be a lot of fun for him, and I'm sure he'll do well.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about kind of blows to LIV and wins for the PGA. Another big headline this week. I feel like it's blow after blow between LIV and PGA, but Patrick Reed decided he wasn't invited to do the exemption that, some other people did, but he just up and quit LIV. Not going to play this season. Going to take the suspension from the PGA and play as soon as he can.
Yeah. And I was honestly very surprised at this decision. One being he does play well in the DP World Tour tournaments. So I don't think he would have a problem qualifying for some of the majors. And then he can, of course, play at Augusta when the time comes. So I was a little surprised at the decision. And, the one thing he did say that I kind of took issue with was saying he was a traditionalist at heart. I don't think that's necessarily true if you went to LIV for a few years and then came back, but maybe he is. And he realized oh yeah, this is just not for me. But traditionalist at heart usually means you stick to the PGA Tour, but maybe not.
Yeah. Um, I mean, this is interesting for a couple reasons, right? It's not the huge name or crowd favorite that people are begging for to come back to the PGA. He's kind of doing this on his own volition, and really it shows that he wants to compete, I think, on a different stage than live more than anything. I think some people want the kind of return to glory and fan support that they used to get. This is not that. A lot of things have fallen wrong for P. Reed over the years, whether it's the cheating scandals or things like that, or just being known as kind of a bully out there. But hate it or love him, he's making the commitment. He's going to serve out his suspension. He's going to come back and he'll be playing golf most likely, maybe this summer, early fall, on the PGA. So shout
Yeah.
out to him.
Do we know if Rory had any comments about Patrick returning to the tour?
He's been having a ton of comments everywhere. Maybe he sat this one out. I didn't see anything of note come to this one, but yeah, he's been full of comments for everything going on, and maybe he took a week off.
Yeah, maybe we'll see something when it gets closer to that return date.
Yeah. A person who didn't take a week off of comments is women's player, or number 2 in the world, used to be number 1, but number 2 in the world now, Nelly Korda, had some pretty strong comments for what the TGL has done. And so the TGL has expanded their league to add a women's only league alongside the men's. So separate leagues, not playing together. And she viewed it as kind of an unbelievable miss, is what she called it. And the reasoning that she had was that it would have been a better idea to combine the leagues. So add women golfers into the existing men's TGL teams, let them work together, play together, and grow the sport as one. She said there are very rare opportunities to do that given the differences in the men's and women's game. This is one where it kind of equalizes it and would have been a great opportunity. I personally tend to completely agree with her. I think it's a complete miss. I love seeing Nelly Korda on those TaylorMade kind of commercials and bits alongside Rory. I think it adds a different dynamic. I think a lot of top women golfers have great personalities, are really funny, blend well with the guys. We talk about YouTube golf all the time. Charlie Hull just did a video with a bunch of YouTube guys. So I think this would have been something pretty special and maybe given TGL an edge that, that it has over the PGA, which, let's be real, TGL viewership has definitely been struggling this year. And I think this could have been a nice boost that they missed. What do you think?
I completely agree. I mean, we're already seeing that a bunch of players are being swapped out for some of these matches. I think I just saw today that next week is Neil Shipley and somebody else tapping in for one of the teams, which is great. That's awesome. Neil Shipley is super fun. And I can't remember the other guy's name now, but he's a rookie and he's an incredible golfer. Like, perfect opportunity to tap in Nelly Korda and be like, hey, do you want to join this team next week? Because they're doing it with players on the PGA Tour already. So why not take some of the biggest stars on the LPGA Tour and let them join the team? I mean, it just seems to kind of like a no-brainer.
Well, we'll see. I don't think they'll reconsider it. They have some pretty strong. I mentioned just Charlie Hull. She came out and supported the decision. She just basically said, whatever they're willing to create for us, include us, we're very happy for. So I get both sides. I just tend to agree that I would have actually wanted to see the product of mixing in some of the women golfers into these teams. So
Sure. But will they let Charlie Hull smoke a cigarette while playing?
no,
That's the
no.
question. Okay.
Despite how many advances the TGL has done, indoor smoking will probably not be one of them. TGL does roll on. They had one of the most, I think, is the largest margin of defeat or victory, whichever way you want to look at it. Boston Commons just demolished the team of Shane Wyndham and Minwoo Lee. Bay Golf Club got served real hard. 9-1 victory, ended quite quickly. Did you catch the highlights of this one at all?
Yeah, I honestly started watching it, and I think kind of halfway through, I'm like, well, this isn't really going anywhere. And so you knew, because it's really hard to come back if you're behind and like you don't have many hammers left. Just the math doesn't work. They're going to finish it out because they got to soak up those 2 hours, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch at first, and seeing Michael Thorbjornsen play, it was cool. Like he's been great. And so I think he's a great addition to that team. But yeah, just not enough. And it was kind of over before it started.
Yeah. The one highlight, which I will say is, I think Wyndham Clark let his frustration loose. He did absolutely bash a 370-yard drive, and this didn't catch any slope. It was just a raw 370. So pretty impressive, but probably the anger talking. We had a TGL match tonight. I didn't catch it, but it just wrapped up not too long ago. Do you know the skinny on that one?
Yeah. The Jupiter Golf Club beat Atlanta Drive today, which they haven't won. I think the announcer said in over a year, but he had it down to the day. It was like 370 days or something like that. And so good for them for finally pulling out the win. And it was looking rough from the beginning. I think they had gone down 2-1 or 2-0. And Akshay Bhatia had like a pretty short putt to win the hole and didn't get it. Luckily, Atlanta missed their putt to tie it. And then from there, Jupiter won like 4 holes in a row, which I guess might be the record in TGL now. So of holes won in a row, and they just kind of kept going with it. Kevin Kisner actually had some pretty awesome shots, along with some very colorful commentary and kind of some trash talk towards the announcers. So it was a good watch. And I was just kind of surprised because historically Jupiter Golf Club has not been able to pull it together as a team, but they were able to this time.
That's great. Really looking forward to seeing Tiger get back in the swing of things eventually. Maybe that'll bring some luck to Jupiter. All right. So the Golf 2 rundown this week, we have quite a few videos come out this week. We had another Bob Does Sports, Bob breaking 80, where he's trying to break 80 as a person who's never broke 80 before. I admire the the challenge of it. However, he is making it look very difficult. He's been up and down. I think the best he shot was at 82. Didn't even come close to this one. Fell out pretty early. I think double, triple will do you in pretty quickly there. Yeah, had Grant Horvat, Golden Boy, on the bag with him. Still couldn't get it done. We'll continue on the 2-man tournament, which, I expect this to be a growing kind of format. These like small, what I will say, not invitationals, but ever since the internet invitational success, people are liking these little matches set up over multiple days, multiple rounds. So go figure. But they're doing a 2-man tournament. It's a scramble. It's Grant and Fat Perez versus Wesley Bryan and Bobby Berger, and then Joey and George Bryan. So Joey Cold Cuts and George Bryan. To me, this one, like from the very get-go, was like, wait, isn't Grant and Fat Perez just going to run away with this thing? Especially when it gets into alternate shot. And they are. They are running away with it right now and hasn't even got to alternate shot. There's some incredible golf being played in this tournament. I think collectively, it's like 6 after 1.5 rounds. It's 16 under, 14 under, and 13 under, like something around there. Pretty incredible golf being played by all 3 of the teams. Pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, for all of them to be playing so well and not one person, one group running away with it is awesome. And I think you're right. This is kind of like one of those mini invitationals that, they're releasing over time. And so it's kind of fun to watch and follow along and see where they're going to go. But it's also fun to see Grand FP just gunslinging out there and sinking putts and hitting these amazing shots. So I love it. It's super entertaining.
Definitely. This next one we have Bryson. It's the second video in this series. The first time he picked 5 random golfers, which can you imagine just being random on a Muni one day and then playing Bryson in a 5-man scramble. But he did beat the average Joes, as they'll call it, the 5 of them in a scramble, pretty handedly. I think the nerves got to the guys, but it's funny. He flipped it and did 5 kids from drive, chip, and putt. So what I will say is these kids actually have the game. They have the short game. They have obviously the capability from farther out tees or closer tees to drive it. And then obviously their putting's great, but he gets destroyed. I mean, it's not even a competition. I think the kids in 9 holes finished 5 under and he finished 1 over, and was never even really a match. I don't know. Did you see any of this?
Yeah, I did. And it was super fun to watch. I mean, some of these kids can hit great shots and they're all like straight down the middle, very fundamental style golf. And it was fun to watch. Also cool to see Bryson interact and just be a little bit more relaxed and softer.
For sure.
It was really funny. There was one moment that made me laugh where I think he was talking about how many majors he has. And one of the kids says, like, actually, you have one more because you have a major in physics. And I was like, that's hilarious. That is so good. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Love that.
It's just really, really funny to watch. Yeah,
Wholesome golf. Maybe that's the theme for 2026. I love it.
I like it.
This last bit, which is interesting, we talked about all the kind of invitational or matches, the internet invitational, which we both love, and I think to a lot of people's surprise, they loved it too, and became quite a big thing. I'm looking forward to this next one, this upcoming year. It won't be for a while, but what they're doing in the meantime to kind of keep the buzz going is they're releasing individual matches. So obviously they edited it down to like almost a broadcast view the first time around. Now they're giving you each individual kind of match. It's interesting in that I find the episodes very entertaining, but the viewership is only about 10% of what the long form videos were, or not long form, but the kind of edited videos were. So we'll see how that continues. Maybe it's hurting their brand, maybe it's helping. But I am looking forward to this next one in 2026.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the new normal. We're going to see a lot of this stuff over the next few years. I think the thing about the Internet Invitational, that the reason it got so much hype when it first came out was because you were really looking forward to the next day that they were releasing or something like that. And so people were kind of locked in as if it was a time boxed tournament. And there was so much video content to watch during that time. So you kind of got your fill, to where these ones, I'm not sure. It's like, oh, we kind of saw the ins and outs a little bit already. So I'm wondering if that is the reason for it. But you got to just think they have hours and hours of footage that they want to show of other stuff they couldn't get to. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's a great point. All right, let's move on. We got a big tournament, like we've talked about already on this podcast quite a bit, but we got the Waste Management Phoenix Open this week. What an incredible, unique venue. You know, as far as entertainment value goes, I know the legacy maybe isn't always there with this one, but man, entertainment value, especially set up on 16, maybe no shot you want to hit better as a PGA golfer. The crowd is just electric, and yeah, we got an pretty incredible tournament, but I'll just skip to the end almost, which is, how is Scotty not going to win this thing?
I don't know. I mean, the odds are stacked against every other person. If I remember correctly, this is where Scotty won his first PGA Tour tournament.
That sounds about right. And then I believe he ran it back to back the following year.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
so
it's,
you know,
like,
it's going to be tough for any other guy to break through.
We come from the Amex, which he probably shouldn't on paper have won, or at least had a chance to lose, demolishes the field there. Now he comes to a place he feels incredibly comfortable with, and most likely will just demolish the field again. It's funny, when we were looking at the data, the simulators had it about at every 4 tournaments this gets played, Scotty Scheffler wins it, which I get from odds standpoint, you know, it might be actually decent odds to take, but the sims never work out. Like, the simulations never are that confident in the golfer winning a tournament like this. And so I don't even know what to say. If you're at all taking bets this week, I'm thinking you go the without Scotty market. So bet on your golfer to get second. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I get the feeling that TPC Scottsdale is a very similar style golf course to the ones that they played in Palm Desert. So, you know, you're kind of going from one tournament where you got comfortable with the style of play, and you're going somewhere else that's pretty much the same. So, you know, yeah, it's going to be hard for somebody to really break through, or he's going to have to make some mistakes.
Yeah. You know, looking at the data and kind of going over some of the key course stats, you know, I think on the surface, this seems like kind of a ball striker's venue, but in reality, the stats that set apart the winners is definitely putting, and then also par 5 scoring. So I think when looking at the golfers, like who can get hot, putting obviously contributes a lot, but then also who is really scoring on those par 5s, maybe has a longer drive. You know, I think these larger greens that sometimes you see at these courses maybe push the edge a little toward proximity over greens in regulation, especially when you're inside that kind of 150 yards. So, I mean, yeah, nearly everyone's going to hit the greens here. It's going to be who putts well and who scores well on those par 5s. I have some golfers. Who are your kind of picks? And let's get that caveat out there that Scotty's probably going to win this. But if
Sure.
we had to
Yeah.
pick a second, who are we going with?
So I got a few guys. The first person that I just have at the top of my mind consistently now is Chris Goddard. He's just been playing so well, and has great putting stats. And so I think I might have picked him for the Amex as well. So this, I think this course would fit him well also.
Nice.
Other guys that I got are Siwoo Kim, who has kind of always been there too in the last few weeks. I think he's playing great. He's kind of struggled like on the final days for a couple of the tournaments, oddly enough. But yeah, I think he's a good pick. Michael Thorbjornsen, also just kind of climbing up every single leaderboard. And then lastly, I think I picked him strictly out of strokes gained putting as well, but Harry Hall, similar, has been in the hunt for a while. I don't think he has his first win yet, but I think he's had several top 10. So yeah, those are my picks for this week.
Yeah. I mean, what's a consistent theme amongst your golfers and really who's doing well is just, wow, there are golfers that are consistently week in and week out in the top 15, top 20. Whereas normally, especially early on in the season, you see these kind of spike weeks from people. It has been a lot of really good, consistent golf and no better than consistency than Siwoo Kim right now. Playing phenomenal. I bet he's top 20, maybe even top 15 for the first 3 tournaments of the season. Michael Thorbjornsen, a rookie, is playing phenomenal. I kind of called him out when he did his YouTube video with the 3 kind of rookies. Phenomenal player, and just the moment doesn't seem to be too much for him. As far as where I'm going this week on the golfers I like, I'm going to past champion, who's also playing some really good golf, starting all the way in Hawaii. Nick Taylor. Nick Taylor has won here. I think it was 2023. No, 2024. 2024, Nick Taylor won. So likes this course, does pretty well. Based on his form, I can't see that changing. So maybe he has a chance to climb up there. I'm going back to the well. I had both Rasmus and Nikolai Højgaard last week in Torrey. I'm gonna edge out Rasmus on this one. I'm gonna go just Nikolai and see if he can do something special here. And then I thought of this as a very funny kind of gut play. But if there's anyone who Scotty Scheffler would let beat him or at least open the door or at least want to play with him on a Sunday pairing, be Sam Burns. He's good old buddy Sam Burns. I think that would be quite a storyline going into Sunday if Sam Burns somehow found his way into a final pairing with his great buddy Scotty Scheffler for the title. I would love to see that. I hope they mic that up. If that's the case, I really hope for the first time ever, they mic up both golfers for all 18. I think that would be fantastic.
I think that's a great call. I think, who does Scotty want to play against? And of course, he probably wants to play against the best player and beat him, but there's always something a little annoying about having to beat your best friend. And so you want it a little bit more. So I'm wondering if that would play into his head at all. So I like that pick.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I think Scotty runs away with it. It's just how it is. It's written. And so we'll see how it plays out. Looking forward to it. I hope the weather holds up. I know in a couple years past, it hasn't just been the beautiful sunny days that people have expected. So hopefully the weather in Phoenix is good this week and we can see some great finishes come Sunday.
Yeah. And I'm calling this, we should try to go to that next year. I went a few years ago and it was so much fun. And I think I'm running a little too late to try and do it this weekend, but let's do it.
So are we getting there at 3 a.m. and sprinting to 16, or are we going to take it like the adult 30-year-old grown-ups that we are and find a place in the grandstand somewhere else?
I mean, we'll take the adult route, but we'll also get that drink package maybe.
Perfect. That sounds like a plan. As far as newer drops in the Pro Shop drop section, we don't have a ton of new releases this week. It's kind of an off week. What's funny is these apparel brands are now taking it upon themselves when they have a big tournament to release like tournament-based merch, which is kind of a newer trend. So some people release like waste management things. I know Breezy did, the Bob Does Sports brand did a huge release on waste management and fits their brand, obviously. Just kind of interesting. But one thing I did see that relates to at least culture is the new Tony Finau golf commercial. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, but I'll just lay the scene for everyone who hasn't. Tony Finau just joined the Jordan brand, obviously cultural icon across more than golf, obviously started in basketball. but just kind of a really cool brand that's branched into a bunch of different athletics. And they just signed Tony. And if you don't know Tony's background, he grew up in an area which there wasn't always an accessible driving range nearby, or he couldn't get to it or didn't want to pay for balls, whatever it may be. What he took solace in was in his garage. His dad had set up a mattress on the back of the garage, and he used to just whack balls into that mattress. They visited his house last year on like a I don't know, back home tour. And still to this day, the dents from all his golf balls into that garage are still there and still visible, which I think is crazy. And so Jordan did an amazing idea. They shot a young Tony Finau hitting balls into this garage over a very nice narration of resilience and what it takes to make it. And then they pan outside of the garage and all the dents form a Jordan logo. I mean, pure peak marketing right there. And it was a great ad.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Just very like Nike powerhouse style, legendary legacy marketing. And it's just no better person to have up there than Tony Finau. So super cool that he's partnering with them.
Yeah, I hope he gets it back on track. It was a good week for him. He played a lot better than his first tournament this season. I hope he continues that path and starts playing some really, really great golf. And yeah, I like when he's in contention. He's hard not to root for, just a real likable guy. So whole family actually too. He's a family guy and they're always with him at every tournament and just seems like a real great family man. So
yeah, and he had an ace at the Farmers too, which was cool. So
yeah,
shout
good
out
things
that.
to come.
Props to that.
Next, I just want to quickly talk and maybe just get your quick, 30-second thought on this overall general trend in golf clothing to be just a little bit looser. And I think, J-Day kind of started this trend maybe a year ago, or at least brought it to mainstream and professional golf in a sense. But this trend towards looser, more comfortable fitting clothing, little less kind of athletic, tight fitting, and just kind of looser, a little bit emblematic of the 90s. As a person who is quite a good golfer, who wears a nice clean fit, what's your take on this? What do you see?
I mean, I think it's cool. I think they've definitely reeled it in from when they first launched it. Like, I know we have a couple pictures up of Jason Day wearing what looks like a box of cigarettes, in my opinion.
Nice.
And I think that's the outfit that kind of upset the PGA Tour, if I remember correctly. But since then, it's been a little more refined and still has that touch of class that golf likes to emulate. So it doesn't bother me. I think it's pretty cool. I like having new, interesting stuff to wear. But, I also like my just kind of classic Adidas stretchy polo. So I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. We got some great games this week. The first one is actually a format we haven't done yet before. It's King of the Hill. So I'm going to ask you to pick this or that, and whatever you pick is going to move on to the next round. And we're going to go round by round until we have an ultimate winner down the line. So for this week, sponsorship is one of the most important business parts to professional golf. If you could have any sponsor in golf, who would you choose? So I'm going to list a bunch of different sponsors that are on the PGA right now. You tell me who you'd rather have on your polo as your sponsor. Okay, so first up, we're going banking. We're going Zurich and we're going Morgan Stanley. Who are you choosing?
I'm choosing Zurich.
Okay.
Like I feel like Zurich Classic, it's been around in golf a long time, has a little bit of legacy to it.
Yeah, I like that pick. Okay, now we got Zurich and Workday.
I am a tech guy, so I like technology, but I think I'll still take Zurich.
I did think I was going to get you with the tech company, but you can't beat banking, right? They got some good sponsorship.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one, Zurich or AT&T?
Easiest decision ever. Zurich. I've nothing but problems with my AT&T internet.
But see, you could be at the first in line at customer service. They're going to pick up your call and fix your problems if you're a sponsored golfer.
See, I needed to go further than that. I want to be sitting in the boardroom saying, what is going on here? So if they'll let me do that, I'll choose AT&T. But for now, I'll choose Zurich.
I think we've all been there. I just want to skip 20 levels and go straight to the CEO with my complaint. Yeah. All right. This next one, we're going logistics. We're going Zurich or UPS.
This feels kind of weird to say, but I would go UPS.
My gosh. Why are you going UPS?
I don't know. That just sounds fun.
It does sound fun. I don't know why either.
I don't know why.
I think I would slightly go UPS as well. I don't know whether it's like the iconic brown logo. I don't know, something that's so funny that you did that. I thought there was no chance, but
I don't
I
know.
like UPS as well. Okay, we're rolling. So
Yeah.
we've changed out our sponsor. We're now at UPS, very logistic forward sponsorship. We're gonna do another one that we'll see how you like it. We're gonna go UPS or Delta.
I'd go Delta. Yeah. I want to get free flights. If they can hook me up with a first class flight or a lounge or check my clubs for free, yeah, I'm going Delta.
I would assume they do that for every one of their sponsored athletes. So I think you got it. Okay, Delta,
Easy.
you traded in the logistics for aviation. I like it. Now we're going to touch luxury. We're going Delta or Rolex.
That's a tough one. It would be nice to wear Rolex while flying first class in Delta, but see, kind of what either I'm wearing a Rolex in coach or I'm not wearing one in first class. I'm going to stick with Delta.
Okay. Delta it is. All right, now you get to be a man of the people or one of the ones. So you get to be Delta or NetJets.
Oof, I'm switching over to NetJets. 100%.
Fair play. I have never flown private. It sounds fascinating. And despite the environmental effects, I would love to see what that's like. So I'd go NetJets as well. All right, NetJets or BMW.
BMW is also super cool. No, I think I'd still go NetJets. Think I
Surprising.
would save up for that BMW, but I can't afford NetJets. So I'll take NetJets.
That's fair. It's a unique opportunity. Okay, now we're getting to the heavy hitters, the classics, as you will. Going NetJets or Nike.
Nike just has such a storied history with golf and with Tiger Woods. Yeah, I would go over to Nike.
Okay.
I want to try all their new clothes, their new shoes, stuff like that. Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Get to be part of that legacy. All right. Heavyweight bout. Here we go. It's the modern athletics versus the traditional golf. We'll go Nike or TaylorMade.
TaylorMade. I want a Casey proto iron type. And I feel like TaylorMade would do that for me if they sponsored me. So
Absolutely. I think they
I'd go
did it for a
TaylorMade.
YouTube golfer just last year, which was crazy. I can't remember who had it, but yeah, I want to say it was I'm going to have to look that up. But yes, a YouTube golfer had a proto made for them. So
Wow. So yeah, I'd choose that 100%.
nice. All right, TaylorMade's king. That was cool. I like that. Good job on that one. I like the picks. This next game, we have you guessing the top 10. And I'll say the first couple times we did a top 10, I think I overestimated your ability to do this. But with this past week being the week it was, with the videos that we put out, obviously recently we had some videos gain popularity about things you'd give up to play Augusta. And the number one comment by far was, you would be insane to give up membership at some of these places. So a lot of people thought you should have taken the membership at any place of your choosing rather than play around at Augusta. So I'm going to ask you to name the top 10 most exclusive and desirable clubs in the US.
All right, let's do it. I feel like I need to explain myself, but I guess we'll just keep going.
You have the floor, Casey. You have the floor. Explain yourself. Yeah.
Okay. My only thing would be, I am very satisfied being a municipal golfer. I love playing at some rough dog track and trying to still shoot even par. That is an entertainment enough for me that maybe these, ultra exclusive clubs, like, I don't care that much. But I say that now, and I'm going to go and hit in a bunker that only has rocks and take that back. So we'll see.
Sounds good. Well explained. All right. Now for your test, give me, and you don't have to do it in any order, but give me the top 10 most exclusive and desirable clubs in America.
Well, I feel like the first one I have to guess is Augusta National.
Ding, ding, ding. You nailed it. That would be a shame if it was not on the list, especially after choosing it over anywhere. But yes, you are right. Augusta, number one. So suck it. Comments?
Well, and I was also dragged for this one, and I'm wearing the hat right now. I would say Riviera Country Club.
Riviera doesn't make it on there, which is crazy.
Wow.
I know. I was a little bit shocked. And if you're coming at me in the comments for my list, give me a break. It's ChatGPT provided. So with that being said, that's my caveat. But it actually didn't make it on there, which is surprising. I think being West Coast kids, I think we view it a little bit higher maybe than the rest of the US, but it is not on there. There is two that were by far the most, maybe three were by far the most mentioned in the comments this week for you.
Yeah, I think the first one would be Pine Valley.
Nailed it.
Yep. And I think the other one, this one might have even more so, was Cypress Point.
Yeah.
Get.
I get it too. And I think this one's so funny because I don't think at the end of the day, you would really choose to be a member at Cypress Point. Like, yes, it is that exclusive. It may be the most exclusive, maybe even more than Augusta in some ways. Well, that might be a bad take, but it's up there. But I think it's like the exclusivity of it is like the attraction to it. It's a phenomenal course, beautiful, set over Carmel. I get it. It's right next to Pebble. But I actually think it's like some of these other ones, you're wanting it for the course, you're wanting it for the history and legacy. So it is funny that Cypress is so high. Okay, you got 2 out of the 10. Or 3 out of the 10. Sorry, you got 3 out of the 10.
I think since Riviera was not in that top one, I'm going to kind of exclude the rest of the Southern California courses. That would be my guess, which is a shame because I had a few more lined up, but I'm going to have to let that go. Let's see. Maybe Muirfield Village? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Village?
It's on there.
Yeah.
It's down at the bottom. It's, I think, the number 9 spot. But Muirfield Village, historic, obviously, club and property. Yeah, makes it on there. What else you got?
Feel like I need to pick like a New York one or an East Coast something.
Maybe a U.S. Open venue?
Like Shinnecock?
Yes. Shinnecock is on there.
You.
Great New York track. Yeah, amazing.
This is the other thing I always forget is that Pebble Beach is not a private club.
That's right.
It's a public course, but they'll charge you $550 to play. Here's another one that the Olympic Club.
The Olympic Club is good. When I saw this list, I was actually surprised about 2, and that was definitely one of them. So Olympic Club is not on here, although it is a great place as well. This next one that I'm hoping you get, and then I'll run through the rest because they are kind of a little harder to get. This one's in Florida. It's a pretty big one.
Seminole?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Seminole, I think it's the 4th spot on here. And I think it was honestly the 4th most common one in the comments as well. Seminole for Florida's mecca of golf. Yeah, it's a really important track and very exclusive. You want to talk about the old money down there? That's where they belong. So Seminole makes the list. Okay, these next ones I'll give you. And there's probably one on here that I could have got. But you have Fisher's Island, Chicago Golf Club, which I really know. You would have known Chicago Golf Club.
I should.
Okay. I don't think I would have guessed that one. The National Golf Links of America. Okay. And then this last one has always been an intrigue as a West Coast kid. The Madison Club in Las Vegas or outside of Las Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. I should have gotten that one too. Do they host tournaments there as well?
The Madison Club. Now, I always get this confused. It is not the place that they hosted the first match. That's different. The Madison Club's pretty exclusive. Randomly, one of my wife's uncles plays there with a buddy who's a member quite often, but no, I don't think they do.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. You, sir, have the...
All right. Well, I got to bounce back from that. I need to study my courses a little bit more.
I think you did good. I think you did great.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that I am very happy being a municipal golfer.
You're mad at the people. I love it.
Okay, so the game that I have for you is to blind rank the top 10 golf collapses of all time. And some of them you're going to know. Some of them you might not because they are very old, but they are devastating. So I'm going to give you 10 and you're going to blind rank them and hopefully we'll see how you do. All right?
All right. It's funny. I'm already piecing together some of like the top ones in my head to save room for. So let's go after it.
Great. Okay, so to start us off, this is Francesco Molinari in the 2019 Masters. He held a 2-shot lead going into the final round and held the lead through the first 11 holes, but came up short after hitting 2 in the water on 12 and 15 handing the win to ultimately Tiger Woods.
Feel like we should just lump together Molinari, Cantlay, who held the lead, Brooks, who held the lead. Like there was like 5 people that had to sacrifice to let us enjoy the glory that was Tiger's Masters wins. That is a tough one, but for what it produced, I'm going to give it a 6. So not as heartbreaking.
Sounds good. I like that. Okay, this one you might have heard of. I had to research this, but Roberto De Vincenzo in the 1968 Masters. On one of the holes, he scored a 3, but signed for a 4, therefore having to take the extra stroke as truth, and he did not get a spot in the playoff, which handed his opponent the win. Pretty rough to have to, the score you shot was the score to get you into the playoff, and you just wrote down one more.
I'd go 3. That is heartbreaking. I kind of remember hearing about that, but it's just like when those are just almost like an act of fate. Like it's just so stupid to have the moment be there, you did it, and then just thrown away by something and so inconsequential. I would have to go 3.
Okay, 3. This next one, Jordan Spieth in the 2016 Masters. Spieth led by 5 shots with 9 holes to play, only to bogey 10 and 11 and quadruple bogey 12 after dumping 2 balls into the water.
Everyone's seen this one. I think I'm going to go a little bit lower only because he had just won the previous year. So it didn't come at as great a cost. I'll go, but then you think like, well, what if he continued his historic run and would it have lasted? But I'm gonna still go 7. I'm still gonna go 7 because he already had his green jacket at the time and he was able to laugh it off with Greller. And nothing can be that heartbreaking if you can like kind of laugh it off in the moment with Mike Greller. So
yeah, I think after having to push some of the cameras out of the way because they were all up on him after, I felt really bad. Okay, this next one, Scott Hope in the 1989 Masters. I think most of these are major tournaments, but
sure,
still we're in the world of the Masters. During the first sudden death hole, he missed a 2-foot par putt for the win. And then Faldo, who he was up against, drained a 25-footer on the subsequent hole to win sudden death. And I just watched this video, and from the angle they had right behind the hole, you knew he was missing that putt. It was only 2 feet.
It's good. I mean, it's tough. I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go right behind the missigned card. Yeah, that's tough. 2 foot. You just never sleep on that ever again.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Mito Pereira in the 2022 PGA Championship. I think we've all seen this on Full Swing. He had a 1-shot lead over the eventual winner, Justin Thomas, and playoff loser, Will Zalatoris, when he stepped to the tee and awkwardly swung and hit his driver, pushing it to the right into the water hazard, and ultimately lost him the tournament.
Yeah, that was a really tough one. That was kind of an underdog story. Everyone was tracking for the week, and to see it in the depth that we did on Full Swing, really heartbreaking. I'm going to go 9, though. I'm going to go 9. He still had a lot of work. Even if he puts that in play, still has a lot of work.
Definitely. And like you said, he was very gracious about it. You know, he was very happy to be in the hunt, and he's just a good guy. And he did okay later on. Okay, next one. Rory McIlroy. This is the 2011 Masters. A lot going on in the Masters. Trying to become the second youngest player to win. He had a 4-shot lead at the start of the day, but he went to the back nine tied for the lead, tripled number 4, 4-putted double bogey number 12, and then hit it into the creek on 13. And his trip was over.
This cascaded to be a lifelong hunt for this tournament because of the magnitude that is. I'm going to put it at 5. I almost put it at 10, but I'm going to put it at 5 because of what it kicked off.
Gotcha. I think that's a good move. Okay, next one. Dustin Johnson at the 2010 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, where he had won already twice before at Pebble Beach. He started the final round with a 3-shot lead. This would have been his first major, but he had a triple bogey on number 2, which I believe is a par 5, and a double bogey on 3, ending with an 82 and a tie for 8th.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Thank goodness I have this because now I don't have to worry. I'm gonna put it at the 10 spot, just because obviously the career he went on to it didn't cause any ripples in the fabric of time. So I'm gonna put it at 10.
Okay, next one, Adam Scott at the 2012 Open Championship. Adam Scott led by 4 shots entering the final round, and it seems like he was going to pull it off. Led by 4 with 4 holes to play, only to close with 4 straight bogeys and a missed par putt on 18 that would have gotten into the playoff, but ultimately Ernie Els ran away with it. in the play.
It was just a study of a slow mental collapse where you let like the issues compound one because you just grab hold of it at any given point on that last 4-hole stretch, and he's the victor. It's tough. I believe I only have 2 left. Yeah.
You have 1, 2, and 8.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll go 8. I'll go 8. I'm
All right.
hoping for some big swings on these last 2.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so this one in the 1999 Open Championship, Dean van de Velde, he only needed a double bogey to win, but a series of erratic shots, including a ricochet off the grandstand and a ball in the deep rough, let him down into the creek. After famously removing his shoes and socks to contemplate playing from the water, he took a penalty drop, hit into a greenside bunker, and scrambled for a triple bogey and lost in the playoff to Paul Lawrie.
It's a hard one. Everyone knows this one. This is the story you remind yourself when you're trying to do too much to save it. This one is heartbreaking. You watch the replay of that, and especially you want to talk about an underdog story again. John Van de Velde was not a no name, and he finds himself leading the Open. It's Greek tragedy level. So it's definitely one.
I think so too. I heard somebody compare this to Pete Best not being in the Beatles, and I'm like, that is brutal, even to keep it on British soil as well.
Yeah.
But good call. All right. And so the last one, which will be at number 2, Greg Norman in the 1996 Masters had a 6-shot lead going into the final round. And by the end, only needed to shoot even par to win, but had a series of bogeys and lost again to Nick Faldo. So Nick Faldo got away with a few Masters wins there.
Yeah.
So that ends at number 2.
This is an iconic one. I probably wouldn't have put it at 2 just because I don't have a ton of love lost for Greg Norman. But yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. And if I'm correct, which I'm gonna get flamed in the comments, I don't think Greg ever won again. I don't think Greg ever won a Masters after that. So yeah, that is tragic. Okay, it'll be 2.
Yeah, I think you did great. I mean, I totally agree that the number 1 is John Van de Velde, which sucks. And like, I've seen interviews with him and he's very cool about it, but like, dang, that just absolute heartbreaker. So there's definitely been some rough goes for some of these guys, seemingly in the Masters.
Yeah.
Were there any that you were thinking about that I didn't put down here?
I needed you to say John Van de Velde, and I knew we were going to eventually get. So that one was the one, iconic ones, in modern times, which you just don't even think about, like Spieth. Like, yes, those are iconic meltdowns.
Yeah.
So great game, great selection. I'm glad I did okay.
Yeah, great job.
All right. So last game of the day, a little bit of trivia continued. We're going to do this different. It's Guess the Golfer. So I'm going to give you a fact by fact list about a certain golfer. You're going to just shoot me with a quick guess on who it is. We'll kind of play this almost like 20 questions in reverse. So I'm going to give you a fact, you give me a golfer, and hopefully by the end, you get which golfer I'm talking about.
Sounds good.
All right. This first golfer that we have is a Southeastern guy.
Harris English.
Okay, good guess. Georgia boy Harris English, not him. Played in all 4 majors, but has never made a cut.
I know it's not Harris English. Kevin Kisner?
Okay, good guess. I actually think he did make a couple cuts, but another Southern golfer and has struggled in majors. So that's actually a really good guess, but it's not Kisner. He went pro in 2012 and is about 35 years old right now. So he's still got some game left, but he's 35 years old.
Cameron Tringali.
You're going so deep, and I love it.
No?
Cameron Tringali would have... No, it's not, but he would have definitely snuck into some of those majors. That's a good guess. It's not Cameron Tringali, but I like the ball knowledge. He's got, which is surprising, he's got a single PGA win in his career. He does have a PGA win in his career.
He only has one.
Just one.
The person, just one. Unfortunately, that is not Cameron Tringali because I know he doesn't have one. But only one. Okay, so I don't know. I need more info.
Okay, we can do a pass. So his lone win comes at RBC Heritage.
For some reason, I'm thinking Nick Taylor, but he's Canadian, and I think he won at the RBC Canadian Open and not the Heritage. Okay, pass.
Okay, he has played in the Internet Invitational.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Wesley Bryan.
Yes. Can you believe it? He fits all those categories. It's Wesley Bryan.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I didn't know the whole made all 4 majors, but never made a cut. He obviously does have his 1 win. But yeah, that's Wesley Ryan.
I like it. That's great. I don't think I would have known that without the Internet Invitational. Yeah.
Sure. Well, my last one was going to be he has a brother named George. So I'm glad we didn't get there.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
no,
That was good.
good job. That's good. Okay, I got one more for you. All right.
Okay.
This person is not a U.S. golfer.
Rory McIlroy.
Great guess. Not it. Has 3 PGA wins.
Robert McIntyre.
I don't know if Bobby McIntyre has 3 wins yet. He might have 2, maybe 1. He currently plays on LIV.
On your bot.
Going deep is not Honor Bond. I don't know if Honor Bond has ever won on the PGA. So this golfer has ranked as high as number 5 in the world.
Okay. Louis Oosthuizen.
Okay, great answer, and I'm going to give you this one so you can guess that again. But has never won a major.
Not Louis Oosthuizen. Live. Ian Poulter.
Yes, you got it early.
Yes.
You got it early.
All right.
Which, God, when you think Ian Poulter, I mean, obviously I was going to get to Ryder Cup villain from the UK, has a hole-in-one at Augusta. But man, I mean, what a really high-quality golfer. I mean, number 5 in the world, never won a major, only has 3 PGA wins. I would have thought he'd have more than that. But I mean, I get it. It's the era of Tiger and all that. But yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Crazy that turns out to be Poulter. But good on you. You got that early.
Yeah, I'm just going through just the list of LIV guys that I know that are European, and I think he's British.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My last clue was going to be pants.
See, I would have gotten it with that. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, great job. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining, and see you next time.